Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bmma After Party. This is where we're going to recap today's events. It was our third installment of Bmma. It was exciting. We had a lot of great fights, a lot of good challengers. These guys came in, put away their fear, they put on the gear, and they got to it. And once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt the Hammer Hammerstone.
How we doing?
And our founder, and our ref, and our scorekeeper, Yuri Villafort, of the famous Villafort brothers.
That's right.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. Yuri, what'd you think about today's fights?
Wow, it was amazing, huh? The level and the kids, they wanted to win so bad. They're fighting so hard. And then just to see them getting that experience, having you guys commentating, and the experience of going, just doing an interview after the fight and learn how to do that, learn how to compete, learn how to win a fight. And it's just amazing. And I just see this just going up, and more kids coming, more people watching. And it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for you guys.
Yeah, this is a great event. It's exciting for us to watch. It's exciting to watch these guys get in there. We see the adrenaline. We see the anticipation. Watching even the mistakes of leading up to the fight. And then Matt gives us some expert commentary on what's going on during the fight.
I appreciate that, Bruce. And yeah, from my perspective, it's nice to see, the sport of MMA growing. And when the sport grows, you get a lot of younger guys that might be interested in mixed martial arts, especially grapplers. So seeing a lot of these young grapplers come in, they get to experience getting punched to the body a little bit, having to face adversity a little bit in these fights, and just learning and growing. And then they'll eventually, it'll be their call whether they want to go onto the amateur level and then the MMA level to the professional level. So it's just a nice building block for mixed martial arts. And Yuri, I got to ask you, what made you think of this sport?
For me, it was I started fighting super young, and when I started, it was no amateur level, so I had to go straight to pro level, and then I got fights too fast, and then I was like, man, this is it wasn't right. Yeah, it didn't feel right. I just got too fast, yeah. And then now they have the amateurs, but the amateurs today, it's insane. You have 6 fights, you're undefeated, you have your belt at Mavericks, and you know how hard it is today. Yeah. And my goal was to build a rule set that makes sense, a rule set that will be competitive, and just get them the experience and just try to get those events one after another. Like, man, I see the kids like 15, 16 years old. I wish I had that. It would be way different for me when I get to the highest level, and then I'll have way more experience, not just physically, but mentally, knowing how to compete, how to win a fight. And that's our main goal, is to build experience, build talent. And I know for sure if you come from BMMA, you will succeed on an amateur level, and you will succeed as a pro.
Yeah, because it's not just enough to know how to fight or to learn how to fight. The actual being put in the actual situation of having to fight somebody and against a timer with a scoring system, that's a whole different level. That puts you in a whole different mindset, doesn't it?
You know, man. You know too, Bruce. You're a competitor too. The day that you have that match, it is just different. If there is time, if there is points, if there is a ref, there is people watching, it just changes everything. It's not training anymore. And you got to go and perform, and sometimes you're going to lose, but you're definitely going to learn, and that's what we're looking for. Build experience, build talent, and give it to them something that they can come back, go on YouTube, go on our channel, watch it, see the mistakes they made, show to their friends what they're doing, and just bring more people in.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, Yuri, I think it's great to have these kids come in and compete in front of an audience, because you're the center of the attention. So a lot of stress, anxiety, the adrenaline, and all that builds up more and more the more people you have, and you have to learn in the moment how to handle that, how to pace in the fight. Don't come out too crazy, because you see some of the guys that fight here, they come out a little fast, and then by the second round they're gassed and tired. So to me, I've been in that situation. It's a lot of the adrenaline dump, all those emotions, they come out right away when you get into a fight, and then it just drops. So you have to learn how to manage that and try to balance that when you go into these fights. So it's a good experience for these young guys to get that feeling of having the center of the room and everyone watching.
Our goal is to have like teenagers going to their first amateur fight with 20 of those fights. And then they're just gonna be a different breed of fighters. They're just gonna perform different. They're gonna get used to the lights. They're gonna talk good. They're gonna have good interviews. They're just gonna get used to of the whole thing. That it's not just about fighting. It's not. You gotta be good on the mic. You gotta know how to carry yourself. You know how to deal with the emotions that you're saying, so you can build up and be a professional one day.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, that's what I was going to ask you, Matt. I was going to say, what have you noticed based on your snapshot of your career is the difference between maybe your first fight through the amateurs, through your last fight in the amateurs, and then segueing into maybe a pro situation?
Yeah. So like when I first got into the sport, I've never even been to an MMA fight, and then I had to fight in my first one. So, coming out, I came out fast, wild, and luckily I did a lot of cardio. That's kind of what I build myself on. So I was able to manage that in my first fight, but I could feel the fatigue after the first round. Those first 2 to 3 minutes go by, and it's like the excitement kind of, and your body settles in, and then it's, okay, now it's time to see who can, who has bigger heart, essentially, you know what I mean? Who can manage all those emotions, the fatigue and everything like that, and come out on top.
Right.
So from my first fight to my last fight, I've only been in amateurs 2.5 years. It's been night and day. It's every fight I've tried to progressively get better at managing the anxiety, managing all that pre-fight noise, you know what I mean? Even with the weight cutting and everything like that, and then try to go in there and just be a better version of myself every fight. So I've had 6 fights, and I think every one of my fights I've progressively got better. But it's just learning. It's just experience, and that's why this is a great event here that you put together here, because you're giving these young kids such valuable experience, and in such a hard sport. This is the toughest sport in my opinion. I've done multiple sports my entire life. This is by far the hardest sport. So you're giving these kids a nice leg to stand on coming up into this sport. So,
and if I could segue off that, Yuri, do you notice, like we notice when we're commentating, how somebody like Joseph has a different strategy from the first time he came out to, I think now is his 3rd or 4th fight, where the first round, a lot of these guys, especially the ones that are first coming into it, they expend all their energy in the first round and just put it all out there. But I noticed in a learning situation, somebody like Joseph, we were talking about,
figured it out.
Yeah, he figured out that he realizes, I got 3 rounds. I need to pace myself a certain.
I just get goosebumps thinking about it, because to see the level of Joseph has been training probably like for 5-6 months, and to see the level that he's at, it's unbelievable. Like the pace, he knows exactly what he needs to do to win a fight. And he has 3 fights with us, and every fight that you checked, this kid is just growing. And not just him, every single one. And so is the level of the competition, and everybody understanding. And the finals today, Mateus and Iker, that was amazing match. The 3rd place match with Sean and Luca, man, they're good friends, but they put everything on the line. They didn't want to lose. They fought so hard, and it's so nice to see those kids just putting everything on the line, getting the most out of this experience, and it shows. It shows.
It does.
And let me ask you this, Yuri. What are your plans for the future of this sport? Where do you see this taking off to?
We want BMMA to, first of all, just like create as much content as we can to show, to give, to build an audience first, and then that audience is to bring people to our online school that we're putting together. Today, you can go on one of our one of our videos that it shows my vision of MMA. I've been training my whole life, and then I've been with like probably the best coaches that you can have, and then with that I learned, and I had so much knowledge that I want to just put everything on the blender and give it to them to drink it. And you can check it out on YouTube. the 5 situations in MMA, and from there is people getting to know the league, coming to compete, and then we're giving the content, and from there they're going to the website. If they want to learn more, if they want to understand more, do that, learn and compete and learn, and that's what we want.
Is this something you want to see expand outside of South Florida then, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Unlimited?
I mean, we can go anywhere. I'm ready to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
But we want to build strong here in South Florida. There is a huge market here. A lot of people love training. A lot of people love competing. But we can go anywhere. I don't care. We have our equipment. We have our system. It's running. It's fast. It's good. Everybody that is watching is happy. There's fight after fight. Everybody that comes here to watch, they're having a good time. And we're just getting better. Little by little, we're getting better. Our production is getting better. Our quality is getting better. My brother Douglas, he's doing an amazing job with the production. And you guys see on the video. And little by little, we're taking over. You know, not taking over because we're doing something that nobody ever done. So we're the first. We're below the amateurs. We're below amateurs. So no one ever thought about that. Everybody's thinking doing an amateur show to go to do a pro show. I'm thinking about the bigger picture. There's a lot of people that would like to do an MMA fight, but they don't want to get hit on the head. Their family don't want them to get hit on the head, but they can come here and compete, feel good about themselves, challenge themselves, and just get better.
And so you're saying this isn't just for younger kids then, this is for everyone. Anyone that wants to come in, see if maybe mixed martial arts is something they'd be interested in, all ages?
Anyone. We have Greg here. Greg is 48 and he is training. He is motivated. Every week he comes here. He's like, man, I want to do this. Man, I can't wait for it. And it's just amazing to see the level of every single one just rising. Greg, his first time we competed here, he was like 15 pounds heavier. Now he's lean. He's ready to go. He came here sharp. And man, to see the human being just like getting better through the competition is amazing.
Yeah, it's appropriate for all ages. Let's hear it for the older guys. But so it's a good system in that you've got it streamlined enough now where the fights take off and it's one after the other. You get it down to about an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is perfect time and keeps everybody's attention. Keeps the fighters engaged. And would you recommend making that longer, or do you like the amount of time and the card size that you're currently performing at?
Our goal here is my goal is to build brackets. Today we had 2 brackets, but a lot of people couldn't make it on the last second, and I had to scramble there to try to make the fight card good, and we pull it off in the last second. Everybody was happy. Everybody competed, and it's just amazing, you know. Yeah. We want to. I like the 3 minutes because it gives like the feeling of it. I like it if you win the first 2 rounds, there is no third round. I like it if you submit, you go back, we fight again, because sometimes you just like got caught, you know. You go for a takedown, you get caught, and the fight is over. The experience was not as much as you could, you know? So go back, you have another chance, maybe win that round, and then get a third round.
And so you're telling me a little bit about the point system. How did you come up with this? And how about the audience at home if they're having questions?
Okay, so the point system, it's actually very simple. The way I think is like, if you guys see on the fights, is if you control the center for like about 5 seconds, I give 1 point. That dictating that you pushing the fight, you initiating the fight, you're taking the action, okay? So that would be like a level 1. That's how I tell them. That's a level 1. Okay, now what is a level 2? It's a takedown or a reversal. Okay. So that's a level 2. Let's say, I was able to get on this guy on a level 2, but I couldn't do the level 3, which is the level 3, passing the guard. Right. It's hard to pass the guard. So if you get to level 3, 3 points. So now level 4 will be a super dominant position, which is mount or back. Okay. And then a level 5 will be if you punch and the person cannot fight anymore, or if you submit. Oh. and that will be a level 5. So if you go someone and then you're like, oh man, this guy is super tough, I couldn't even pass level 2 on him. So that means you couldn't even take him down. And that's how the point system is. We don't allow heel hooks, we don't allow slams, and we don't allow headshots. And sometimes it happens. It's very hard when, especially on the pace that we're doing right now, that I got to take 1 point away. The rules are very simple. It's very effective, very competitive, and I think we just got to keep going.
And why do you think it's so important for these younger guys coming up? And we obviously know, but not to take headshots. Why is that important?
So let's go way back. And my dad, he had over 200 fights, and today he's 83 years old. And I know on my household what it is to be a fighter when you're older. And what I see in many gyms is just people just going at it for whatever reason they think it, and just getting unnecessary damage. And then sometimes they can't even break through. They can't even be the best they can be because they're stopped in training when you're supposed to be better. And our gym, we don't do headshots very often. We build the timing, we build the skill, we build the distance. We're looking for that. With the skill, a lot more than the toughness. The toughness, you have it, and if you want to fight, you're gonna dig through it. And there's something that you have on you. There's not something that you have to really get hit on the head to be tough. You're already tough, and you're just gonna dig through it. And then I'm thinking about the long term. I'm thinking about having a lot of fights, a lot of experience, and not the head trauma. And that's super important. You see football, NFL, they change their format. You see like high school football, they don't do the same things they used to do because they're getting mindful about getting hit on the head. Is not, yeah.
So the emphasis really is on education and the training aspect of it than it is about the hits and the body counts, if you will.
Yeah, and I want those kids to when they have to take that damage, it is for something. It is something meaningful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Prepares it.
So Bruce, when did you get an MMA? And what has mixed martial arts taught you as a person? You know what I mean?
Well, as an older person getting into jiu-jitsu, I started when I was 52. I had some martial arts experience before that, and I had a career in law enforcement. And so it was, for me, I weightlifted and I power lifted for many years. I got into bodybuilding for a little while and then CrossFit for many years. But I found my body breaking down, and I always respected the fighters in seeing people who could handle themselves in situations, no matter what their body weight was, no matter how strong they were. You could always appreciate somebody who knew how to handle an aggressive situation. And I was actually CrossFitting at a gym, and I saw Yuri and at another, they were training in the same gym, and I used to watch them. And at one point I said, I think it's time to try. And I think that's the hardest part at any age, is walking through the door or the willingness to try. And I've always been a person that'll put myself in an uncomfortable situation. And if you ask me anything, what jiu-jitsu has taught you, it teaches you perseverance, teaches you discipline, it teaches you to be uncomfortable, or it teaches you to be comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. And it teaches you to just get through the hard part and humble yourself. Because if you humble yourself, you'll find yourself in a better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But Bruce didn't say, because he's humble, but he didn't say that he's a blue belt world champion, he's a Pan American and a purple belt champion. And this guy, his first ever tournament was the Worlds. And he goes there and just like killed it. And I knew it, that he would be like, man, I told him, I was like, man, just keep training. You're going to do amazing. He went there. This guy's world champion. This guy's Pan American champion. And he's been doing great. And it's a pleasure to have him here, have you here. And it's just amazing.
Well, thank you. It's because of you. We're excited. We are excited for this event, and we're excited for the upcoming events. So I just want to say, on behalf of the audience, me, my partner, Matt Hammerstone. Thank you, Yuri Villafort, for giving us BMMA. Douglas for recording it all and putting us out there. And I can't wait to come back to the next event.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you as well, Yuri. You know, you've been a great guy to me ever since I came down to Florida here. Bruce, you as well. And, you know, Yuri, what would you have to say to anyone at home thinking about coming here and trying this BMMA event?
Just come try it. Come try it. It's going to be good. You're not going to get hurt. You're going to feel a little bit of pain, but it's okay. You're just going to grow from it. You're definitely going to leave that door happy.
That sounds good. Thank you, everybody. I'm Bruce Cappy, my partner, Matt Hammerstone, Yuri Villafort. We're down here in Delray, Boca, South Florida on BMMA. And this is where you put away the fear, put on the gear. Let's go.